Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wrestling Discussions. On today's episode, we are going to be touching on last night's WWE Backlash, as well as a little bit in terms of who might be participating in the new World Heavyweight Championship tournament. I'm not going to be disclosing all 12 superstars that were named because I don't remember them all, but I will be going through most of them. And I'm not going to be depicting each one. I'm more so going to... I will do that tomorrow, and I will mention all 12 tomorrow in tomorrow's episode. I'm more so going to be talking more so about who was like the majority rather than each individual. But tomorrow I will be going through each individual as well as tomorrow night's Monday Night Raw. So stay tuned for that. But starting with WWE Backlash, we had quite an interesting one last night, quite an interesting pay-per-view. I didn't catch all of it, but I did catch the last two matches. But I will start with those matches, starting with the main event. Cody Rhodes taking on Brock Lesnar in what was a brutal fight. It was probably the longest match Brock Lesnar's had in the past 2 years, maybe even longer than that. On top of that, it was one of the first matches in a very long time, and when I say a very long time, I mean a very, very long time, that WWE had blood. And what I mean by that is Brock Lesnar was cut open. Now, this is not new for WWE, where every so often there will be blood. We saw it with Finn Balor at WrestleMania. Now, that one was a little different, where I don't know if it was intentional or not, considering that the refs didn't really get involved like they did at WrestleMania. But, so this one, I don't know if it was intentional when Brock was bleeding. However, we've also seen in the past with, like, Roman Reigns and Randy Orton and, Brock Lesnar bled before at WrestleMania 2015. So, you could look at it and go, oh, well, maybe it was intentional, maybe it wasn't intentional. Maybe this is just, maybe someone in the back was like, for this time you're going to bleed. But, however, we just saw in NXT this week, we saw none other than JC Jane also bleed. And so this kind of pertains to the question, is WWE using blood again? Is WWE using blading again? Now, I was depicting this throughout the match last night. I never really saw Brock blade last night. Like, I never really saw a good moment where he could have done it. There is some speculation that maybe he did it with his glove, when he was touching his face with his glove, and he hid the blade in his glove. However, he bladed a little deeper into the forehead rather than near the hairline. And so some people are thinking that maybe it was more so like it was like intentional, but it wasn't with a blade. He just full on forcefully hit that turnbuckle. Because it was an exposed turnbuckle, and so some people are thinking he fully hit it. I'm still curious and thinking that maybe he bladed, and maybe that's what happened. But nonetheless, we had a bloody, brutal match. Brock's blood was getting on Cody. Cody was dishing out. It really shows the respect that Brock has for Cody, because the match actually started with Cody Rhodes using steel chairs and steel steps before the bell even rang, and he was decimating Brock Lesnar with those weapons. And the reason I say that it's a testament to the respect that Brock has for Cody is because you don't see that, right? You don't see Seth Rollins having the opportunity to do that to Brock Lesnar. You don't see Dolph Ziggler or Heath Slater have the opportunity to do that to Brock Lesnar. It's the only people I've seen do that to Brock Lesnar are people like Omos or Braun Strowman or even Kane, but never someone the size of Cody Rhodes. And so that's a testament to how much respect Brock has for Cody Rhodes and for the Rhodes family. Now, Cody Rhodes did get the victory. It was via a roll-up. It was a roll-up that, when the match was over, Cody got the hell out of Dodge, like he should have. And Brock was, well, I think it's safe to say he was a little peeved. On top of that, I think it's also safe to say Brock Lesnar's not done with Cody Rhodes, because the way that match finished, the finish of that match is just a testament to say that, Brock Lesnar is not done with Cody Rhodes, at least not yet. Now, we also saw the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso take on Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Matt Riddle. That match was a little more disappointing than I had thought. It was great. It was a great match. The wrestling was actually better than I thought it was going to be, but the finish was a little disappointing. Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline, the Usos, they did get the victory. The reason I say it was disappointing is because they got the victory, and so it kind of takes away from everything Sami and Kevin have been doing over the past few months, as well as it doesn't give Riddle that chance to finally get his revenge. On top of that, we never saw Randy Orton return, and we never saw Solo Sikoa or the Bloodline or whatever finally dish it out. We saw Solo and Jay kind of on ends with each other, but other than that, we didn't see anything else. And so it's another thing is like, how much longer are they going to build up this idea of, is the Bloodline okay? Is the Bloodline breaking up? Because it was going on even at this has been going on for weeks, and on top of that, and you thought it was going to end last night, but it didn't. Now people are saying we're going to hear more on Friday when the Tribal Chief is on SmackDown next week. But do we really want to wait till Friday when everyone was hopefully expecting something last night? It's just a little bit of a disappointment in my opinion. Now, we also saw the major San Juan street fight that people were talking about. Bad Bunny taking on Damian Priest. Now, again, I said either way this could go. Personally, I thought it should be Damian Priest. On top of that, I was correct in saying that the Judgment Day and the LWO had it out. What I really did like was that the LWO, even if they were only honorary members for the night, had two new members come out for a night, for 24 hours in Puerto Rico, and those two wrestlers were none other than Savio Vega and Carlito. Now, growing up as a kid, I grew up watching guys like Carlito, and so I was really ecstatic when I got to see him come back. And, to see a legend like Savio Vega make his return kind of, and get to do something really cool by taking on Finn Balor and Dominic in a brawl, I thought was really intriguing and enticing, and I was very, very grateful for that. On top of that, I know Puerto Rico was happy because Bad Bunny got the victory over Damian Priest in a very, very, very impressive street fight. And I just got to give that honor to Bad Bunny for a minute. The dude, I believe this was his first one-on-one singles match in WWE. His first match ever was a tag team match. His second match was a Royal Rumble. This was his first ever one-on-one match. On top of that, it was against Damian Priest, one of the biggest and baddest guys in this business right now, in WWE right now. And on top of that, it was in none other than a street fight, which is really hard on your body, and it's a very difficult challenge to rise up to. And so major congratulations for Bad Bunny for not just rising to that challenge, but for taking it a step further and actually getting the victory. I think that's a big testament to him, and I also think that's a testament in saying from WWE that Bad Bunny's not going anywhere yet. He's staying where he belongs for now. Now, we also saw for the SmackDown Women's title, LWO's own Zelina Vega take on Rhea Ripley. And it's like I said in yesterday's episode, WWE kind of, they didn't save themselves with this one. They didn't, they didn't cover all bases. In the sense that Zelina was drafted to SmackDown, and so it wouldn't make sense for her to win the title. And on top of that, we kind of already knew it was Rhea's first title defense. It just made more sense. Rhea Ripley did get the win, but Zelina Vega did get a major moment to shine, and on top of that, she was given an incredible night from the audience in Puerto Rico. There was no doubt in my mind that she was the star of that match, in the sense that it was almost like Sami Zayn in Montreal versus Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber. It was just that big of a deal, that big of a moment, and I was very, very happy for Zelina Vega, someone who I feel as though Triple H and the rest of the guys in the back in WWE right now have actually been doing very well with. And I hope they continue to push her and continue to give her excellent matches like she's been given so far, because this is the best she's been in the WWE in her entire career so far in the WWE, in my opinion. Now, we also saw Bianca Belair take on Io Sky for the Raw Women's title. This was a match that they covered all their bases with. And so I did have some belief in the back of my mind that Io Sky would win. I personally wanted Io Sky to win, but it's also like I said in yesterday's episode, Bianca Belair has beaten Io Sky before, so it's not like we necessarily needed this match. It's not like this match was necessarily like one big cliffhanger or anything like of that nature. And so it's not too surprising to see that Bianca Belair defeated Io Sky and retained the Raw Women's title. My hope, however, is that sooner rather than later, she loses that belt, or at least starts getting some bigger and better competition coming up, because she just needs more than what she's been given right now in terms of title defenses. I feel like her title matches. I feel like Asuka was the only title match that wasn't more obvious that she was gonna retain. Whereas the other title matches I feel like have been more obvious as of late. And I want to see something where I can actually go, oh, she might lose. Now, we also saw for the United States Championship, Austin Theory take on Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed. Now, this was a match I wasn't too sure about because there were a lot of people saying it could be Bobby Lashley. There were a lot of people saying it could be Bronson Reed. I thought it was going to be Austin Theory, but I also could have seen it going either way. Turns out it was Austin Theory, however, and Austin Theory is still the United States Champion, which again, I think that goes to show his major prowess in this business. He just overcame two of the most dominant forces in all of WWE. He is still the United States Champion, and I'll talk about this a little bit more tomorrow because, like I said, I'll be going through the individuals and stuff tomorrow. But Austin Theory is going into the tournament to decide who's to crown a new World Heavyweight Champion. And so that's going to be huge. Now, we also saw Seth Rollins taking on Omos. Seth Rollins did get the win. It's like I said when this match was first confirmed. He's been a Kingslayer, he's been a Beast Slayer, and now he's officially a Giant Slayer. It's just the way things go. It's like I said, Seth Rollins is white hot. He's at the top of his game right now. There's absolutely no reason to not give him the victory, even though it's against such a big guy like Omos. There's just no reason for him to lose. And so, we managed to get Seth Rollins beating Omos. And on top of that, Seth Rollins is another person entering this tournament. And I'm going to switch gears real quick and start talking about that. Again, I'm going through all the individuals tomorrow. But for now, we do have... Here's just a quick sneak peek. We have wrestlers like Seth Rollins, Edge, Cody Rhodes, Austin Theory, Rey Mysterio, Bobby Lashley. And that's just to name a few. One thing I want to call out real quick, though, is I've noticed we have a majority of Raw superstars as well, or not majority, I should say. We have a mixture of Raw superstars and SmackDown superstars. The reason I say this is because WWE is contradicting themselves. I say that because this title is supposed to be a Raw title. And I say that because it's what Triple H said himself. He said whatever brand Roman Reigns gets drafted to, which we found out was SmackDown, that the World Heavyweight title is going to the opposite brand, which means the World Heavyweight title is a Raw title. It is a Monday Night Raw belt. But for some reason, it's okay for SmackDown superstars to compete for said belt. I don't know if that means if a SmackDown superstar wins, that means they're going to go to Raw. I don't know necessarily what that means. What I do know is that you have a number of wrestlers, a variety of wrestlers, all of which were either like former champions or former, really, they've really proved themselves before. They've been in the main event in a way, you could say. And so they know their way around in terms of who could be a world champion. And so that's something I look at and go, it's certainly something we could see. Now, the more I look at it, the more I think I still look at the SmackDown side and I think it's really odd to me that they're bringing in SmackDown superstars for this. And it's like I said before, this could potentially be a hint that Roman Reigns is going to win this belt at some point. And I say that because Roman Reigns just screams to me that, like, the way they do Roman, it just screams to me that he might be the type of guy to get that belt and then they wait until WrestleMania 40. And on top of that, we also even heard from Baron Corbin, who said if he was put in the mix and if he won the World Heavyweight title, he would want personally to have a championship match versus Roman Reigns and a champion versus champion match. And that this was Baron Corbin the person. This was not the wrestler. This was like, if he actually won the World Heavyweight Championship, what would he want to do? That was his genuine answer as a person, not as a wrestler. And so you gotta think, there's probably some people in the back that respect Roman. There's probably some people in the back that are like, I respect them, but I don't understand why he has both belts. I want those belts. And that's probably real. That's probably not fake either. And so all this is kind of brewing in. And I'm going to be completely honest. I really don't know what's going to happen at Night of Champions at this point. Because in the back of my mind, something is genuinely telling me that Roman Reigns is going to be triple champ. Whether it's at Night of Champions or whether it's later down the line. Something is screaming to me that he is going to be a triple champ. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for tonight's episode. I apologize for it being so short. Again, I will be going through each individual wrestler that is in that tournament tomorrow night. And I will also be going over tomorrow night's Monday Night Raw, so please stay tuned for that. As always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.